Thanks for staying with us. Joining us now on this segment is a vibrant, forward-thinking, result-oriented legal practitioner, a visionary entrepreneur, and legal expert dedicated to revolutionizing the business space and the legal industry in Africa through technology-driven solutions. Welcome with us, Mrs. Ngozi Nwabueze, aka Mother-in-Law. You know, it has to be my first question to you. Good to have you on the show. Which one is this mother-in-law? What exactly is it about? So tell us.
All right, so basically it's my moniker.
Yeah,
And it's actually the conversation starter because people are like, mother-in-law, mother-in-law. What it actually means is the mother-in-law. So basically, I not just on the side of, you know, the clients, also on the side of the lawyers. I'm like mothering the lawyers and also mothering the clients. So basically, because of the two sides of what we do, we are able to, you know, also focus on the lawyers, you know, and enable them with the platform that we are currently building. So yes, that is where the mother-in-law comes in.
Okay. So obviously you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
Working with lawyers.
Yes.
Could you just explain to us what it is you do exactly with your group of lawyers that you've earned the moniker mother-in-law, which I'm not sure if it's a negative or a positive. Because as you know, in Nigeria, when you say mother-in-law, everybody starts thinking of all the terrible stories.
But I mean, from my own experience, I mean, having the moniker, it's actually a conversation starter because it gets people interested, like, oh, why the mother-in-law? And then some people get it right off the bat, right? When they, of course, they already know my background, so they get it. What we do basically is twofold. Besides the firm that I run, we also are building a technology that is going to enable, or that is enabling lawyers to digitize their practice end to end.
Okay.
So as far back as 2018, I realized that there were no tools that were enabling lawyers do their work, right? So everything we do is still manual, right? You want to do legal research, you want to send invoices, you want to, you know, generate documents. Everything is still very manual and very fragmented. So right now, even because I'm tech savvy, I have to use different apps for different things. And you would wonder why you reach out to a lawyer and sometimes in days, even sometimes in weeks, that lawyer is not able to get back to you with, for example, a document with a first draft. Is because everything we do is still very much manual. And even when there are tools, the tools are fragmented. So what we are building is an all-in-one infrastructure. It's an entire ecosystem to enable lawyers to be able to, literally, we're digitizing what you'd have in a physical law firm online. So it's more like a virtual law office.
Library.
Yes, law office.
Interesting.
So you'll be able to do everything you can do in your physical law firm on the platform.
Wow, that's interesting.
Okay, so reading your bio, I can see two powerful combo there. I can see law and I can see entrepreneurship.
Yes.
A very powerful combo. So why law and entrepreneurship?
Okay, so I like to actually see myself more as a businesswoman than even a lawyer because at some point I was nursing my kids, and at that point I could not earn an income because I could not physically go to a law firm or go to an office. And I kept asking myself why. I still had my skills, but I couldn't translate it to, you know, to finance, to money for me. And I asked myself that there has to be a better way, right? There has to be another way. Then also, when I look at the fact that a lot of lawyers are underpaid, you know, sometimes even 10 years post-call, 15 years post-call, right? And then I just realized that, see, somebody needs to step in and bridge that gap. And whether we like it or not, especially post-COVID, we now realize that hybrid, remote, virtual, whatever it is you like to call it, has come to stay. Until we start to build systems that enables people, you know, offer their services or even access services virtually, we haven't started, which is why I decided to, you know, come in there and bridge that gap with technology.
All right. I see that you're well grounded in legal structures. Tell me, do you think small businesses really need these legal structures?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me give you a shocking statistics, right? Statistics show that literally just about less than 4 million businesses are registered, you know, in Nigeria. And statistics also shows that there are about 40 million active businesses in Nigeria. Now, that means that literally just about 10% of the businesses operational in Nigeria are registered, meaning if you're not registered, for example, you cannot operate a corporate account, which means you're cut off from any source of funding. And I always tell them, whenever it is I have the opportunity to speak to entrepreneurs, even for grants, nobody is going to pay grants into your personal account. Nobody is going to do that. So you need to be able to create those structures to be able to access and help you have access to, you know, all the opportunities that are available, whether it's financing, whether it's debt, whether it's equity, or even grant, right? Among so many other things.
Let's talk about the fact that you have so many degrees, certifications. Did that happen before or post children? Because a lot of people listen to people like you are successful and thinking, when will I get to that point? Where's the time to do all these things? So did you take out time to raise the kids and then pursue those things, or were you doing it along raising kids?
Okay, so if you even check my LinkedIn, you'll see that I had a gap year. And that gap year, I put it in mom, and I put there, it's a job. Yes, it's a job. I put it in brackets. Yes.
I like that.
So I took 3 years off. I had 3 kids in 3 years. Story for another day. But I knew. And okay, so I had my last child in 2020, and that was COVID year. And I kept asking myself, imagine if this platform existed, how it would enable people to still do things, you know, with social distancing and all. So the moment I was done with, I just gave myself 6 months. By 2020 November, I hit the ground running, because I needed to even prove that it is possible to run a successful firm virtually, right? So I started that with my firm, and we've done that for 5 years. So what we are doing now is basically scaling what we have, you know, the MVP that we have done, and making it accessible to everybody and all lawyers.
Okay, so today is a Women We Love segment. So you see that story of 3 kids in 3 years. Today is actually the day for that story. So because days like this, we just want to know all the things that have helped motivate you, inspire you, challenge you to be who you are today. So tell us that story.
I lost my mom 20 years ago, and I'm the first child. My father is a professor. I just had everything around me, and I knew that my father believed so much in me. Today's his birthday, actually, and he's 70. Yes, and he's also retiring Professor Ngozi Nwabueze, and he's retiring today officially. Yes. Wow. Happy birthday, Daddy.
Wish him a proper happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Daddy. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for everything. And he believes so much in me, and he used to tell me, he tells me every time, follow them, they don't have 2 heads. Follow them, anyway, follow them, they don't have 2 heads. So I knew that you could literally do anything. And then every single time, I would sit back and see people do things. I would just be like, you know what? Because you can actually do this. Like, there is the only thing stopping you is you, literally. So I took that, got up, and I started to do it. From zero budget, literally zero budget, you know. Then I started to put the word out there. I started to approach people, say, I can come and speak. I can come and do this. I can come and talk to your people. I can come and accelerator programs, speaking engagements. I started to reach out because, of course, as a lawyer, you cannot advertise, but you have to use what it is that is available to you to put the word out there. And that's how I've been able to do it to get to where I am today. And I would like to say I'm a late starter, right? I turned 40 last year, right? But I want to become the poster girl for late starters, right? You can start at any point. And you know, I really like how you pointed it out, because a lot of women use having children
as
an excuse. I have 3. I had 3 in 3 years, right? You have no excuse. My oldest is 7, going on 8 next month, right? They're all April babies too. Story for another day.
Wow. You guys are sorry.
What I'm trying to say is 7, 6, and 4. You have no excuse. And like I said, my mom is late. Do you know what I did? I went to look for an elderly woman who already had 5 kids, who knew how to take care of children, right? So I brought her in, even with her 2 kids. So they lived with us. I created an expensive system around me, but I had to, right? So that I could go out and do things and not have to bother about my babies. Support system, very important. And oh yes, my husband, absolutely fantastic guy. And my extended family, my siblings, you know. So that's how I've literally been able to get up and move.
You know, I mean, I love to hear the story, because one of the reasons why we have this show, Women We Love, is just to highlight regular folks, good folks who are doing great things. What are some of the challenges you face, especially when it comes to money, women and money? And people say, oh, your money, you have to find a way to make money. They keep telling us all the time, women make money. But some people are still thinking, how? How do I go about it? So as a lawyer, are you really making money? Or this is just, you're just hoping to make money? Because people are just wondering if you're actually making money.
Okay, so we are making money. In the last 2 years, we've doubled our revenue.
Wow.
Between 2023 and 2024, we doubled our revenue. And of course, we have plans to double it this year and
quadruple it.
You know, and more, you know, so minimum double, you know, 2x. So, of course, and when I mean double, I mean in the hundreds of millions.
Yes.
So that's just to give you an idea that, yes, it is possible, right? Starting from ground zero. So yes, we are making money. And the best part for me is the impact. I hear people telling me all the time, oh, thank you so much. You know, I didn't think, you know, because of the fact that I'm a mom, the way the way we offer our services in our firm is very different. It's very modern.
Nurturing.
So I have some of the founders calling me and they are ranting about other things aside law, right? And you have to now play the role of the therapist and so many other things. So and I think that endears them to us as well, and also helps us scale very quickly because they are quick to recommend us. Everything we've done so far is recommendation, referrals. So if you know what you're doing, you put your foot down and you put the work down, people will definitely come and they will refer you.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
So what's the future of legal services and solutions? And can you tell us what role you see yourself playing in the continent? Because I see it in your bio.
Yeah, the future of legal services, whether it's offering it or accessing it, is technology. Simple. Simple. Technology is what can bridge that gap. Technology is what can give a young lawyer who just got called to the bar today to set up their own practice. You have people who are 5-10 years post-call and they are scared to venture out. They don't like what they are doing. They don't like where they work. Some of them are even working in firms that is not even their area of interest, but it's just because that is where they found a job. When I was interviewing some of the lawyers, I realized that there are lawyers who work in firms where they don't even get paid. You know why? You tell them you should be glad that you have access to use our office as an address and use our library. But guess what? You go there every day and you walk, you go to court literally almost every day. So you have no time to even build your practice, right? So this is a tool technology is what is going to, you know, level that playing field and also give you the access to be able to have access to clients that you ordinarily would not be able to access and so much more.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll talk about the softer side, things you love to do, have fun. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guest for today. And, you know, one of the things we wanted to find out is how you let loose, how you know, all these things you're trying to do, working with startups. Do you get time to play? Do you get time to be a woman?
Yes, yes, I do. And I particularly remember getting into my 40s. I told my husband, I said, this is my soft life years. This is my baby girl years, you know. So, yeah, so I love to listen to music, especially rap music. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, yeah, I'm a hip hop head, so it helps me unwind.
Nice.
Yeah, so I like that a lot. Then, yeah, I like to hang out with my friends, with family. I love to host.
Yes. Host the ladies of your view. Let's
Why not? Please. I love to host.
Mother-in-law.
Yes. I like to host.
Mother people.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes. And, yeah, just good time, good vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I'm a jolly good fella.
Okay. So, you know, just talking about husband being there, you mentioned how he's
Supports
a
you.
good support for you. And tell us in ways, if you can, that he's supported you and how you feel that support has helped you.
Okay, so first and foremost, his company is a venture studio. So a venture studio is like an accelerator that, you know, helps businesses go to the next level.
Okay.
So my company, that's a technology company, is a portfolio company of his venture studio.
Ah.
So
Okay.
a lot of the people that work with us, for example, the people building our technology, their company sourced it. The product manager we have is paid by their
So
company.
that's some support.
Yeah, a whole lot of support.
Practical support.
Yes, yes, yes.
wow.
You know, so that is one fantastic way.
Yeah.
Then he puts me on. Puts me on access to opportunities. You know, oh, they need somebody to speak there. You can do
Okay.
it. Go and speak. They need somebody to do this.
Support.
I know somebody who can do this. Oh, so because we're in the same space,
Yeah.
and then you know he deals with
We just
startups
watched a
also.
movie, Acholo Good, where they tell us that
Acholo
actually that
Acholo Good.
people men don't
Love
like
in a
their
word.
It's
women
more
to be independent. They like them to be dependent. Is that
He's
true?
Yoruba actually. He's Yoruba actually. So hey,
So
maybe. Shout out to DLM.
So I wanted to ask, what's the weirdest aspect of being a woman for you? If you could, would you rather be a man?
First, let me answer the last question first. No.
Okay.
I would rather, I would,
Never.
if I had to, I mean, if there's anything like reincarnation, I would definitely come back as a female,
nice.
right? As a female, and especially as a mom, they ask you things that they don't ask the other guys. Like, oh, who's taking care of your kids?
Yes, how you
But there are
juggling?
men, yes, but there are men
take care
who
of
are
your
fathers, and nobody gets to ask them those kind of questions.
Yeah.
You know.
Guess what? They even ask me things like, so you're here again? Yes, they say that. We see you everywhere. Yes, I've gotten that a couple of times.
Oh
when
my
I go
God.
to events and you're everywhere. I'm like, no, I'm not everywhere. So at some point, I had to, you know, make it, because I'm a very comic person too. I had to make a joke out of it and say, oh, have you seen me in your dreams? And I told them, I said, until you see me in your dreams, then that means you're seeing me everywhere. Until then,
No, I'm not yet everywhere.
I'm not yet everywhere. You know, so
Oh,
those kind of things. But
Fantastic.
I mean, for me, it's more food to my fire.
so we have to wrap up with you, but just on a last note, tell us where you see the future, where you're going, where you're heading, because as a woman, entrepreneur, lawyer, you have all these big plans, this big company you've put together. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
5 years, I see myself exiting Pocket Lawyers as Africa's first global legal tech unicorn.
Wow.
Yes, because
That's
what we are
huge.
building is not just a product for Nigeria or for Africa, it's a product for the world. Literally any lawyer can go on there and create their virtual law office. So, yes.
Well done.
Currently, we have about 6 countries, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Rwanda, you know, their lawyers are
African
already...
countries, mostly.
Yes, yes.
I love them.
In the
Congratulations,
waiting.
wishing you the best. and
Thank you
hoping
so
for the
much.
best for you. That
you
is
so
all
much.
we can take. Huh?
Opa's dad's birthday as well. He's 75 years old.
Mr. Shane Joby.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, sir. God bless you many more years. That's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.